All right. Good evening, everybody. The time is 6:04, and we are here for the School Board Relations Committee here at the Twinsburg Government Center. If you would go down the line and state your name for roll call, please.
Leah Travis.
Rhonda Crawford.
David Post.
Bill Fury.
Sam Scafidi.
Steve Marlowe.
On your mics.
Yes, everyone's green? Yeah,
Yes,
Leah,
Mike's
make sure
on.
you're green. All right, so we are going to elect a chairperson and a vice chairperson. I guess I can nominate myself chairperson unless you'd like to be the chairperson.
You can go.
All right, I'll nominate myself as chairperson. How's
Second.
that? Steve Marlowe seconds. Any discussion? No? Leah?
Oh, yes.
Quick call, yeah,
Roll
yes?
call, yes.
All in favor? Yes? Yes?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Marlowe, yes. All right. Thank you, everybody. What an honor. Are there any nominations or anyone want to step up and nominate themselves or anyone for vice chair?
Oh, I
I'll
guess,
nominate Rhonda.
okay.
I'll second.
Looks like you're it.
All right.
Any discussion on that? Let's take a vote. All in favor, let's do it. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? All right. Congratulations.
Thanks.
What an honor.
Oh.
What an honor. All right. So let's just jump right into the purpose of the committee and why we're here and why I asked to have this started. I talked with Rhonda about this before this committee developed to get her feeling on it. So over the last few years that I've been on council, I know that different council members have mentioned the fact that there has been tension for years between the school board, I shouldn't say necessarily say the school board, but the school board, superintendent, and the city. And the city, not necessarily the city council, but the admin with the city. And I think this goes back years, not just recently. And there's just been a lot of frustration. And so I have said to past council members, why don't you have conversation? And I know that at one point there was a conversation between a couple council members and Mark Curtis to have that, to try to build that bridge between the two entities. And after that happened, I went back to one of the council members and I said, was there any follow-up after that? And he told me no. And I said, all right, so if we're going to have a good relationship is only going to come from dialogue and continued dialogue. And I don't want there to be any anger from either side, right? And I want there to be open everything. Because if we do that, there's not going to be any he said or she said or whatnot. And I think that meeting twice a year is just going to only keep us from getting back to where we were. I know that Mayor Scafidi, you have worked with the schools on contracts since you became mayor, correct?
Correct. And
I think that is a great first step because I think not having that contract was part of the reason it was wild, wild west free for all because nobody was accountable for anything.
There was a contract.
There was a contract, but it wasn't being followed. Is that correct?
Well,
Right.
it wasn't updated. There are several contracts. When I came on board, I met with Mrs. Powers, and we wanted to see what our relationship was going to be and how we were going to work together. And then we started talking about things over there at the fitness center at the school and all that stuff, and looking for the contracts. The contracts were incomplete. They were had been updated at certain times, but nothing was ever put together. So it was really a mess. And so
this
we
is
kind of
regarding the pool pad, correct?
that and just responsibilities and so on. I mean, it wasn't a specific item at the time, but yeah, it's just the whole responsibility of who does what and who's responsible for where and what we're sharing, what we're not sharing. So I think that we've got everything more in line, but it doesn't hurt to take that out every once in a while, and we should probably do that here again because that's been a couple of years now, and see where that contract stands and just update it again too, as things change, and so it doesn't hurt us to look at it again and make sure that we're all on the same page.
I remember when actually when me and Leah first got elected, I remember that's when I saw we had met with our attorneys with like the pool pack. That's the only thing I saw was like it was like not really update it, there was like really not any language that, it was not clear language as to like who should have ownership of paying what part and all that stuff. And then I knew when we kind of got newer, when we had just got elected, kind of that was where we were trying to come up with that agreement, and we kind of made it more clear.
Well, I think the idea of coming together like that too, a lot of it was, okay, so we talk, and then it's months before something else is brought to the attention, or we know that our end's rectified, yours end's it's like it just took too long to move the process from one point to the next point to the next point, and it took a long time. So this way, if we're meeting, I think that, you know, there's gonna be more direct communication,
Right.
and process and procedures can, I think, happen in a more timely manner than waiting to see, are you gonna respond, or then we have to respond, and then you gotta respond, and then we gotta respond. It's like, it's gotta move, if we're gonna fix something, if we're gonna work on something, or, you know, or we have to say, this is going to take this much time, and so what is it that we need to do in the meantime? So it would just be more clear.
Exactly. And so when I talked, when we talked originally, we being me and Rhonda, I suggested that we meet twice a year. And the reason I suggested only twice a year, as opposed to quarterly or whatnot, is we can always add dates if there's something happening, but I don't want to meet just for the sake of meeting. We're all very, very busy. We all have lots of meetings. I know you guys are lots of meetings. I know we all have lots of meetings. And so I don't want to meet just for the sake of meeting. So I think twice a year is great. If there's absolutely no agenda items or anything for a meeting, we can always cancel the meeting. But I want to at least set it for twice a year so we can all just have, you know, constant dialogue. And so we don't have, like what Leah, what you just said, and what you were bringing up, like, you know, whatever. So, and that's the purpose of the committee. Are there any other thoughts to why we want to do this, or?
Well, I think it's good too. I was just, and I'll just go, just so you know, because I didn't talk to you either, like, just like I think it's good too to have this, and also to be in the know of what's happening within this, like the school board being aware of what the city is doing, and the city being aware of what the school board is doing, so that we should be working together, and we all should be in the know of especially big things that are happening. And I just want to make it clear too that, like, for the city of Just, like, we for the mayor's thing, we had no idea, or the school board would have been there. So just for things like that, just being able to know of like what's happening, and like, because I've never missed one since I've been on the board. So just knowing about those things and just like being in the know, like, so we can have that open communication, updating each other of like, hey, we got this going on, like, and maybe it's like we set a communication person, like, so we can, like, you guys have events coming, we have events coming, and we figure out like, hey, communicate that to, like, whether it's Shannon or whether it's our Mary Ann, who does a lot of our stuff, so that we can, you know, keep each other updated, and they can let you know, and then you know, Mary can let us know of stuff that's happening.
What's the date of the state of the schools?
It is May 7th.
Highlighted on my calendar, Mr. Ferry.
Actually, I don't need a pen. I'm just going to put it on my
For the purposes
calendar.
of today's meeting, could you just call me
May
Bill?
7th,
May 7th.
May 7th.
I mean,
11 o'clock.
Steve, you know me for 30 years. You always call me Mr. Fury.
Oh yeah, state of school address is
Respect, sir.
I respect you well, Steve. I have a lot of respect for you, Steve. I do.
May 7th at 8 o'clock.
Thank you.
at the Hilton.
At 7, it's in the
May
morning.
7th at 8 a.m. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir.
We're going to try to copy what the mayor did in terms of having it in the morning.
Good.
Do you normally do it in the evening?
May 7th?
Is
I
it
thought at
normally in
lunch.
the
I've
evening?
been to lunch once.
Usually at
It's
lunch.
usually in the-
Lunch?
Yeah.
Last one I went to was at the Hilton at lunch.
Yeah,
Well, I will be teaching that day.
that's
Educating.
Acceptable.
I will be teaching our future.
that's important.
Right. I take a half day for the state of the city, but you know,
I'll teach for it. You can come and teach.
I love it. Love it. I'll leave amazing subplans. They will be so easy for you. All right. So we all understand the purpose of the committee. I think that's great. 2026 goals. Basically, this agenda came from Shannon and I talking and just kind of putting something together. We can adjust this however the group sees fit. This was just something to put on here now. We can do yearly goals, and you can see down here, future shared interest projects, fitness center. The reason I listed the fitness center is because it's one item that we actually share, so if there's anything to do with that.
We're supposed to share the auditorium, I thought as well, Mr. Marlowe, that,
The high school at the time?
yes, that, you know, that, the agreement that I understand came from Carabac back there, and you've been,
Yeah.
was that the.
Is your mic
that
on?
the-
Just want to make sure your mic's on.
My mic is on, I can see.
I just want to make sure his is on.
It's on, I can see the green
Okay.
from here.
But it's over there.
Because he speaks really loud, so you get it.
Teacher voice.
My understanding from the original school deal was that we're going to lease the land for 99 years. We're going to put $12 million for the construction of the auditorium and the fitness center, which were going to be shared resources. And then if the fitness center had losses, because we had, the residents before I got here had voted down a fitness center twice, said, you know, they didn't want one, so the thought was, we're going to give you this money, and if we have losses or maintenance, we'll get that money. It was basically a loan and get it back. But as it came to the first time that there was money due, the school said they didn't have it, so they redid that and no longer did that portion of it. But when I was here with Mayor Prokop, one of the biggest frustrations was when we had the regarding the auditorium, which again we thought was that and the fitness center were a shared entity. Is that we couldn't get any scheduling for the plays. I mean, we basically, and I know that you're aware of the Marty Franks
Yeah.
stuff, and that's not an issue today, but also there was maintenance on the thing. So the first time that we had with the fitness center, this is the first time in 25, 27 years that the school's participated in maintenance that I'm aware of, and I've been here for 22. And I was on Park and Recs with that, as well as we really didn't get much input, and again, old things. This is just historical. With when they turned it over, the city didn't have much input on what the fitness center was. So a year later, when we were losing almost $1 million, we put another $2 million to expend the current weight room. So we had to add to it versus having it planned accordingly to begin with, to look at rather than just come up with a gym annex. So, you know, the last time we did a play, I was having people call me and say, you know, we're supposed to have the shared day and we're only getting this much time, and they're making us pay for the maintenance people. And I said, well, I don't understand that. The maintenance people are there whether you have people in the building or not. So that was something that at some point, if it comes up in the future, I'd like us to be able to talk about how we can fit our community theater into the fitness center, which, you know, was again supposed to be
You mean the auditorium?
shared. Auditorium.
Yes.
Thank you for correcting me. And
That'd be weird.
you know,
Because at this point, the theater is defunct.
Yeah, there's
It's
no-
still there, but.
well,
they-
they're
they have
you're
nowhere to-
pro-
they're in the
They're
process of putting a
Oh.
401k.
No, we still have
They-
money, we still
We
hold
have
money for
we have
them,
100
but they have nowhere to hold their,
So Mark,
their place.
Well, here's what, again, I came back in '94, but I came back as an administrator at the building.
Okay.
So in 2001, I came to central office, just to give you a general.
Sure.
I was a principal, and then in 2004, I became superintendent. But there were agreements, I don't know if you have, it's been years since I looked at the initial, whatever, the 1998 probably agreement,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
97, right?
Right, I know, yeah.
So at that point in time, I was a building administrator, so I didn't, even though I grew up, lived here, I didn't have really a say in that. But we used to we got billed from, if I recall, we got billed from the city when we used the fitness center, because the city owned the fitness center, still does, right?
Correct.
So we got billed for when we used it, whether it be swimming meets, things of that nature, we got billed for the use of that. And if we had a play, we probably billed back for the custodial costs, not to rent the facility or anything like that.
Okay.
But we probably billed back any weekend, Saturday, Sunday. Again, I'm just trying to recall.
Sure.
But we would just have, if Mrs. Prokop, Mayor Prokop wanted, and I remember working with, who was the drama director?
Meredith Shree.
Meredith Shree and Marty Franks.
And Marty Franks.
You know,
boy, that'd
the
be fun,
place
like a
seemed-
cage match. All right.
it seemed to be, and again, I'm trying to recall, so please.
No, and, you know,
It
we
seemed
can,
to
and
be
we can move up beyond
we
that.
wanted our plays in December. Don't quote me on the date, you know, and then the city wanted their plays in December, right? So we got to work out. Okay, let's go with. And a lot of the drama kids were the same kids, probably, right?
Yep.
Like they might have
They
been
let
Music
adults in,
Man,
yeah.
and then they also were in a school play. So you just try to work out those. You know, when is the best time to have our productions? Knowing, like we have a production this weekend. You know, knowing that the school has their productions and the city has their productions, and we try to work through that and try to find the best times for that works for everyone, right? And
That's that's very reasonable. It hasn't been that way though since I've been here.
yeah.
So because if it was, that'd be perfect.
Do you have does the city have a?
Sam,
We don't have our own
when you say since you've been here, you mean on council or as mayor?
since I've been the mayor.
Okay.
Do you have and I'm just gonna say Meredith. Do you have a Meredith now that runs your plays? Because I don't.
No, it's there's another group. I've met with them. I
They
don't
have a group,
know
so
their
the
names.
challenge is Meredith
still
had a
calls from
501,
Florida.
401(c) or 501(c),
501(c).
and there's $110,000 in that fund. We need a new group to put that tax exempt organization together. The people who approached me, they're just trying to get the seed money with the $3,000 or $4,000 they need to do that and have it transferred over. It's my understanding that they're working on that currently and they expected to have it done by the end of the year. So that's why I was bringing up plays.
Yeah.
Because
Because how long has it been since there's been a play?
probably 5 years.
Okay, so prior to my time.
And they used to be awesome.
Yeah,
used
they
to be
were.
awesome.
I know.
And I
And actually, they used to try to do two because there was an adult one and a kids one. And I'm just telling you that I between Park and Recs and Mayor Prokop, it didn't go smooth. Do you recall that, Sam?
Yes.
Okay. So if we went further, could we have some? You know, we're happy to let you use this room for free. I know you have to pay for the mark to tape it, but we should be able to work something out on that in the future, in my opinion.
Should be a reciprocity
Yeah.
between the
We
two
do this.
entities.
Yeah, we do this, you do that.
Right, I mean, it just, and I know that there's been feelings for years, since I've been on council, there hasn't been that equitable give and take. It's been, we've been giving. That's what I've been told. Again, this is me creating this because I want harmony.
Not everything on my list is negative.
but
I want to talk about Mark, or as we say, Matt Solera did a really nice job, probably 7 or 8 years ago, or 10 years ago, when we were doing the Cornerstone abatement. I mean, we were going to have to go in for an abatement on every building that came in, and that's not always easy to get you to give abatements. So Mark was able to go in and we capped it at 50% when Hudson had 100% abatements. I mean, there were people giving it all away for 10 years. And I thought that was a very good deal that we've had in place. I think it's gone with the abatements are all expired now. So you're getting 100% of the property tax. But we would have never been able to get that closed Chrysler plant filled as an industrial park had we not gotten the abatements, which brings me into the TIF conversation that we had a few years ago for the first time downtown, and that didn't seem to go very well. You know, our side thought that your lawyer was very challenging to deal with, and I've heard that that's gotten better, but we're still asking for a TIF. I believe we're in the process of asking for a TIF so that we can do the downtown development. And I'm not sure what the status of that is because,
We haven't heard that from this.
okay.
So,
Yeah.
go
We're
ahead.
still negotiating with the developer.
Yeah, because
We needed the numbers.
We've
Yeah.
We've met.
been
talked.
communicating a little bit.
We haven't.
and last-
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
last time
Okay.
we met, we talked. That was been the last time. Other than we're working on it behind the.
Correct.
Yeah. So we're just waiting for the negotiations, I think, and
I
then.
think that you need to have the numbers that we generate, or that the developer generates, so that we can tell you what the cost of the TIF is.
Yeah, and I don't think any of that's been
We
formalized
don't
yet.
have
It's
that
not
yet.
formalized between us and the developer. We're trying to get the best deal for everybody,
But it's coming,
and so it's coming.
and that's
yeah.
a big deal for us downtown to revitalize. We're gonna put Are you aware of the downtown beautification program that we're doing with the CIC?
We met with the mayor and the
No, this is different. This is the buildings that are down around the square. The CIC is has $400,000 of grant money that we're giving on a 50-50 match for the people that are buying the building that's the diner and the laundromat to give them a significant facelift. Painting, new windows, new storefronts, so that we can beautify.
That was casually mentioned when we had the meeting back in December here.
Okay.
It wasn't going into detail, but it was casually mentioned that was a part of some of the work that was going to be done.
And I would expect that to be done by the end of the year.
What's that?
The beautification with the grants as we go work with the new owners of the buildings downtown, the beautification around the square.
That's up to CIC.
No, I understand. That's what I'm saying, that we're doing that to beautify down there. We've got the streetscape, we just did, I think we had 850 people come back and give us feedback on, because we're beautify that area the same way the township.
580.
Pardon me?
It was 580.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. I'm just saying. It was
dyslexic.
fine.
I've been dyslexic all my life. You're gonna hit me with that now? You know, I'm old too. All right. I'm a senior citizen. All right.
That's hilarious.
Anyway.
Anyways,
We're going to do a lot of things to make that beautiful downtown, and this, we absolutely feel that the vitality of the walking and the things that are going to be down there are with this downtown redevelopment on the old school property.
That's exciting.
So we need your help.
and one of the concerns that we had with when we were having this whole TIF negotiation conversation that was shocking to me is that the city actually received a cease and desist letter. I don't know if you were aware of that. We actually last year got a cease and desist letter from the board's attorney that said, do not contact the schools, do not reach out again.
Don't
And-
talk to school board members.
Yeah, but yeah, I hear you. I think the mayor.
mentioned
Yeah, and what's go ahead. And I'm not trying to be a bad blood. That's not what I'm saying. The concern,
That's not us.
I'm just saying the concern was that.
That's okay.
When I,
But it's-
no, I'm not mad. I'm
but
saying
it's your
these,
employee.
but when I talked to Kathy about it, she had no idea what I was talking about. I said, Kathy, we got a cease and desist letter. She says, I have no idea what you're talking about. And that's when I think I called, did I call you? Or maybe I didn't call you. And I said, Kathy, how are you not aware? And that conversation struck me as really odd, that she had no idea that the school's lawyer sent us a letter saying do not communicate. And that was when I came back here and said, we need to figure something out. And that was like why we're here. Because I don't want, again, you won't be the superintendent next year, but I don't want the superintendent to say one thing, the school board say another, we hear another. I want to really just have a place where we're working together for a common goal to move forward, not backwards.
On the bottom line used to be where schools and communities are one. Like,
Right.
We have to work together.
Have to work together.
You just made a comment, I'm not going to be here. But I think we have to work together.
Agree.
Now, are there going to be disagreements? Absolutely. But we got to work through them because
We're the two biggest entities in the city.
we should be able to work through, in my opinion, we should be able to work through fitness center, auditorium. There are going to be bumps because we know, like, our play's going on right now. So
Right.
if somebody wants to do a play in February, there's going to be some, because our kids are doing a play today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So, do you know what I mean in terms of
Yeah.
time in the auditorium?
Sure.
Because that's when our plays are being. So, but I remember having these conversations. Like, we have to try to fit it into our
Yeah,
schedule.
and I think too, like to your point, that's news to me right now.
The lawyer letter?
Yeah, like that's news to me, and I think when you even said, like, I think we had a conversation and you said, yeah, there's so much tension, and I'm like, why? Like I didn't, like you had said, like, I think we need, and I'm like, but I don't get, like, what's the beat? Like, why is, like, in my head, I'm like, why should there be any beef or any, like, the city and
And
the
I
school
agree.
board,
There shouldn't
we
be.
should be working together. So I know, like, when we had talked last year, we were like, yeah, we should be getting, like, there shouldn't be anything like that, in my opinion. I feel like we should be working together. We should be able to come together with stuff. Like, a lot of, when you look at the schools, like, our children use the city stuff. Like, you look at the sports, all that stuff is connected. Like, we're all connected.
Which
we
is
all
why
should
we're
be
here.
working together.
And that's why when we got that cease and desist letter, what related to the TIF, we were coming to you guys, about the TIF, and then we were told, cease and desist, you can't communicate with us. When we needed to communicate, it was just, and that was frustrating from the city's end. And so I'm glad you're hearing this for the first time, but we did get that letter, right? I mean, yeah, it was sent to us.
So how does, in this process then, I'm hearing what the city wants, and I can appreciate all that. So how do we communicate that and get support from when we ask for help in the initiatives that we want help with, or that we need help with? Whether we agreed or disagreed with the last two bond issues that were on, we did come together to build a new school, to build a new whatever, to educate our students, to run our operations. How goes education goes our city. I think when we're talking here, and I know that I made a comment when we were here together and I got word back that it wasn't appreciated. My word was, I was hoping that we would get support from the city portion of the community, the leaders of the community. I think that if we're gonna work together, if we're needing help and we come with initiatives that we need help, there has to be some if you don't agree with it, I'm fine with that then. Tell me that I can't do it. Tell me that we have concerns about this or that. But there are things in this community that we need to make sure we are working together on in both directions. Just to support, if our schools face economic distress, and we're not the only school in Ohio facing economic distress as time goes on, just some help, some initiatives, some boots on the ground words, some support. And I mean, we're not asking to come run our meetings for us or anything like that, but just the idea that we know that the relationship is solid and that we're on board and you're hearing us and why we need it. Yeah. Not looking at social media that, they're stealing the money. We're on it. We're just like you. We have to balance the books. We have to pay the bills. We have to educate the students. And we want that to happen for this community. We have beautiful school. We have beautiful kids. We have so much to offer our children that, we just met with the athletic groups that run the cities, the communities, athletic programs. They're using our facilities. And we want that. We want our kids to stay here. We want them to become engaged and be Twinsburgers and graduate from Twinsburg High School. We don't want them going anywhere. And that's, to me, that's the give and take here, to come back and forth to work with. Now, we'll have a new superintendent in a few months, and just that relationship that the two are working together and helping each other and supporting each other.
This room was filled for at least 3 meetings, packed with people telling us not to do that land swap for you. And we did it anyway to do that. But I did not think I thought that program, I had a very long conversation with the superintendent, and I told her that this was going way too fast, this is not a good fit in my opinion, and that, no, I was not going to endorse your levy. And so she didn't have to hear that secondhand, she heard that from me.
Right, I get it. And see, and I can appreciate disagreements, I can appreciate that. It's just that, again, if we're moving forward on this, then that's where we have to work together.
Right.
That's where we have to think together. It's a process.
So, and I agree, I told her the same thing when I talked with her, when she spoke to the Rotary. She came and spoke to her, I told her my same concerns. And so I know that there have been times that we've been asked as a city to endorse the school projects. I know that, we've been asked multiple times. And the problem is when we have 7 different council members up here, we had 7 council members that felt 7 different ways. And we had some people that supported the project, some people that didn't support the project. And it was hard as a council, and I just had this conversation with Matt Solura actually last week, when he asked me if council would think to support what's going on now. And I said to him, the problem is, we've discussed this in the past, when you've got 7 board members, some might love what the school is doing, and some might be completely opposed as to what their school is doing. And it's hard for the council to to support a project when 3 of the board members absolutely do not support it. And so we don't want to speak for everyone on the council. And what we decided at that point was that if any council member wants to say, hey, I endorse it, a council member should have the right to come up and endorse it, but we were concerned about endorsing as a group. But not everybody in the group endorsed the
I mean,
project.
yeah, that totally makes sense. It was,
Yeah.
I think it was more of like.
And like
what
Bill
the
said, we
way
didn't
of
support.
How long it took, like, because whether or not you were gonna, you know, agree to do the swap agreement, land swap agreement or not, it was just, we met in December and it took like right before, we were on the ballot in May, and I think we didn't even get it signed to April, so it was just, the whole process to me was a back and forth, and I would just like that relationship to be smoother, so that it's not taking that long.
I remember a lot of
Yeah.
back and forth on that land swap, because I committed
So,
to the mayor
I do.
that we would do that. I mean, I got a lot of feedback on it, but
I remember because we
We
talked
didn't
multiple
switch.
times and she was hoping that we would get it passed on emergency after the first meeting.
Right.
And we.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so we had the conversation. She was saying, can we pass it in the first reading? Can you make a motion? And I spoke with, I think I spoke with you, Mayor, and the problem is that we had so many people in the community reaching out to us constantly. I mean, my ex-mother-in-law lives right there. She called me, and she goes,
Our
what
guys
is...
are angrier than yours.
Right. So she actually called me up to say, what is going on? I didn't talk to her in like a year. And Barb called me up and said, what is this? This cannot happen. She goes, this is...
Your ex-mother-in-law.
Oh, I love her. She's great.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, I love my ex-mother-in-law. She's wonderful.
Just making sure.
Oh no, trust me. I hit the jackpot of mother-in-laws. Trust me, she's amazing. Sam will vouch for me. She's amazing. But she was even coming to me saying, so we were torn. Like we wanted to go on 3 reads because if we passed it on an emergency on that first read, it would have painted the illusion like we're trying to just get something by our residents, and we wanted to give them that 3 reads to have their say and their opinions.
Well, that was said that night when we all had the meeting right out here. I mean, it was brought up, and a couple of councilmen spoke right up and says, this is not going on emergency. It's got to be 3 readings.
Yeah, Councilman Barr said that right away. I think.
And so did Bellin.
We have people that when we authorize a contract to save money on a road program are upset that it's on an emergency. They don't understand that emergency to us means that we're going to waive the readings and enact it the next day instead of waiting the 30 days for it to go in effect. We just had this conversation. Greg Bellin had to explain it within the last month. I've heard us explain this. I've been explaining emergencies for 20 years. And there's some people, when they hear emergency, you're rushing it, you're trying to hide it. That was a very controversial issue for the people that came to see us.
Lots of people.
And
The city did not want, and the city voted against it because they didn't want it. So they were coming to us not happy, and they were angry at us that we actually supported the project before you even put it on the
I'm sure you
ballot.
read some of the nice things with my name on it.
So-
and I don't even post. So
I think it's important we just continue the dialogue.
Yeah.
We can create our relationships that we can at least talk and, work through issues, whether it be fitness center or auditorium or whatever. I think we need to continue this dialogue.
Yes, for sure.
And just,
And just so you know,
at least
too,
we can understand each other's positions and
Right.
Agree.
and just so you know too, with the hire of the new superintendent, one of the first things he talked about was what's our relationship with the city? Are they he was really on board with working with the city, and so just so you know that.
okay.
Well, we are the 2
first
biggest
things I
enemies.
did was I think it was pretty early on. I called the mayor and I said, "Look, let's
Let's get together.
let's work together and let's."
Yeah.
So it's critical.
It is critical.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've heard for years complaints. I'm like, no, because I'm an educator, right? I work in schools. I could not take hearing negative things about schools because I am always pro-school. And I just had to make this relationship better.
Yes.
And so the whole point of this first meeting really is just to talk like we're doing right now, just to state the goals, just to share what is needed. We want harmony. We both seem to have that same feeling. I'm not sure there's anything specific right now on an agenda bullet point. I know that we did talk about payments back and forth. I'm not sure if anybody, like.
Regarding what?
Regarding payments like if you use this, rent this space, rent that space. I'm not sure, do we have a contract for that, Mayor? Like if we use their space, we pay this much. I know that I've heard conversation that when we use the schools, we're constantly getting charged for things. But when you guys, for example, use this room, we don't charge you.
They
Is
are
that
charged, yes.
Is
They're
that fair?
not charged for the room, but they're charged for the
Mark's
staff
For
that we
the
have.
staff, the
Yeah.
custodial staff, just
They're
like.
charged for Mark's time.
Mark's
just
time.
like-
And I know back in the day, and again, I could look at the agreement, but we did pay to use the fitness center. I mean, I think we do still pay, I could be wrong.
I
but
don't think you do.
What's that?
I don't think you're paying for the fitness center right now.
Okay, well, we used to, I know that, because I remember having the conversation, and right or wrong, I remember the initial agreement. Yeah,
No.
okay. When our swim team doesn't, yeah. So, but we used to, and we probably should revisit that.
Right.
Yeah.
When we charged you, at some point, 15, 20 years ago,
I've been gone 15.
okay.
That was perfect time.
It's a decade and a half, so I know it seems
You've
like.
been gone
No,
15
no,
years?
And I don't recall, but there were charges, and then the school said, well, if you're gonna charge us, we're not gonna use it. So you didn't use it for a while, and it didn't work out, and then it came back, and then it was not, pardon me?
He's shaking
I
his
shake
head.
my head, Mr. Fair, because that,
I didn't say it was you.
I know.
Right.
I didn't say, and I'm not saying it was her, I'm telling
Right,
you
right,
that
right.
at one point, if, I don't recall us charging you. If we did, okay. But I know that it was stopped because you said, if you're gonna charge us, we're just not gonna use it, so you didn't use it for a while, and something got worked out, but you're currently not paying to use, you're blocking it off between 3 and 5, and there's other classes and things that you have, we're not charging you, according to to Park and Rec's director who runs that facility.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and
Yeah, I don't-
I'm not even asking, I mean, I don't even know how to put that together, but,
I believe you, but I think the original agreement, 20, 30 years ago now almost, probably, had us, yeah, I could be totally wrong, had us paying for our portion as we used the facility. Because it was an expense for, it was a city facility.
right.
So-
and
How
we've
do we
lost
all
about $25 million
No, I get it.
since the
It's-
inception of it.
It's a great amenity. I mean,
Uh-huh.
people come here and they
A
like,
deficit, we've had a deficit of about $25 million since it opened, when you take the capital and the maintenance and everything that we've had to put into it.
yeah.
Okay,
What-
I think we've talked about the issues long enough.
Sure.
And
Right.
this is all history, okay? Let's leave
Fair
it
enough.
history. We gotta set it up, how do we wanna see it go forward?
Correct.
We're all the people that are here now, except for, and that are gonna be
87 days.
here, well, at least, for the near future going forward.
We should start with the contract that you have that you worked on.
Yeah, I mean, so we could, I could have that contract sent out to everybody, okay?
Yeah.
Everybody could take a look at it and see what it says, the most recent one that I remember doing since I've been the mayor. And let's look at that and let's see how we're gonna go forward.
Right.
Because it seems like everybody's on the same page. We all wanna go forward. We all wanna work together. We are one. The schools are no good without the good city, and the city's no good without good schools. That's the way it goes. So we've got to make sure that we're the ones that bring it all together and make it work. And it can work. I know it can work. I mean, for whatever reasons, happened in the past, that's in the past. We all know what some of the sins were, and maybe you guys weren't kept abreast of what was really going on. And that's unfortunate, because you should have. And, I'm not going to even get into that, but, yeah. So, yeah, I think we need to go forward. Let's rebuild, let's start over, and, let's make this thing work and make us proud of everything that we do here, and how we run the city, and how we educate our kids, and how the two big entities in town that, how's everybody else gonna work together if the cities and the schools can't? It's like, that's a problem.
So why don't we start with having the contract forwarded to the people on this committee at least,
Yeah.
if nothing else. It probably won't hurt to share it to all of council,
Yeah.
send it to all of council.
The agreement that we have across the street.
The one
Are you
that's,
talking about the
Yeah.
full pack?
Yeah.
I'm talking
That's
about,
right.
No, it's the fitness center contract.
that's what I was thinking.
There was an original contract when all that was
Oh,
built.
for the entire fitness
The
center,
entire
not
facility.
just the pool pack.
Yeah, no.
Oh,
Pool
okay.
pack's over, that's done.
Oh,
You know, it's
okay.
been done.
No.
I didn't know.
So
there
the
was-
pool pack
okay, there
happened
was a
because there was
There's
the-
been lots of,
Big-
this goes
okay.
back 20-some years.
Okay.
So the reason that there was the pool pack back and forth is because there was an agreement 20-some years ago for the fitness center, and this is a
Talked
fitness
about
center.
shared maintenance. and
Yeah.
The first time we enacted it was for the pool packs, it was
'Cause it was
a
such a
$2
big
million upgrade.
So a lot of the little things we've just been paying for, but the schools were supposed to have always been paying.
You probably do.
That's the
That's the
problem.
first time that there was participation was on a pool pack.
But it wouldn't help.
That's the issue. So, and again, what is the equitable number? I don't know. We'll figure it out moving
Well,
forward.
y'all got more money, so y'all just take it.
Right. And I totally understand that. And I totally
Y'all do it
understand.
good,
I
right?
got 3 more bullet points here, and he told me to stop.
Yeah.
All
Y'all
right.
do it good, right?
So Mayor Scafidi, you'll have that sent to all of council?
Yep.
And then we'll make sure that the school board gets it all, or send it to,
All the school board and all.
well, who do you guys, is there a point person that we should email to you and then you'll send it out? Who's the point person?
You can send it.
Send it to Steve.
Steve.
Send Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, that's true, because the superintendent works the contract from the other side of it. So, and then,
So just send it to him and.
Yeah, and then he'll-
distribute it to
He'll send
everybody?
it to
He'll
us.
send it to us.
okay, perfect, then we can all see it, and that'll be maybe the agenda for the next meeting is, look through the, that contract, what needs to go, what needs to stay, what works, what doesn't work, because really that really is the binding agreement between us. And I guess the question is, should there be any agreements for anything else besides the fitness center? I don't think so. And I say that because, are we using any of their other facilities? Are they using our facilities? That there needs to be, I don't want to ever hear an argument, well, the school board uses our room. I don't want to ever hear that argument from anyone, because if we're okay with that, then let's just be okay with it, right?
I'm okay
If we're
with
not
that.
okay with it, then let's put it in writing what it should be. But if we're okay with it, then great, right?
The only other agreement there was with the land swap, and seeing that's a dead issue, that agreement's gone.
Okay, perfect.
Is the gas addressed in the original agreement that you're going to send out? Is the gas costs going to be addressed in there?
Utility costs were in there, yes.
Okay, because, Steve, we've had the pool shut off. The heat's been turned off multiple times when you guys go on break, and I think that we've got that fixed. But the gas meter is moved, and we have no control over the heating at all, and I'm not sure how we calculate that bill, so I'd like to understand
The
that.
last I remember is when they shut down for the summertime, they shut the boilers off,
Yeah.
not knowing that it shuts us off too. So we had all cold water. That was a problem. We had no hot water in there at all.
That's not good.
So,
It's
so
happened
then
more than
all
once.
me
these things
being me,
that
I brought, the gas company in. I said, split this off. I want
Yeah,
my
why is
own
it-
water. I don't know why. I don't know why they did what they did, but I wanted my own utility. I wanted to split it. You guys get your bill, we get our bill, we control ours. And the cost turned out to be phenomenal for us to try to do that.
Because
So
you guys,
I kind of let it go, but, the other issue that's come up, and again, I just said we shouldn't talk issues, let's talk future, but, the bill, I mean, we were supposed to be, we don't even know we're getting billed. The bill comes to you guys, and you just send us a bill telling us what we owe. But we don't know what we used. We have no
that's what I'm
clue
saying.
of
And
how
we don't
many,
have
what is it,
control of this
MCFs
at
is
all.
the gas. We have no idea how many MCFs. We're just given a bill, and they paid it. And I says, why are you doing this? Why hasn't somebody broached this subject before? This should be an itemized bill. We should be able to see it.
That's actually not past, though. That is current and future, because we're still getting these bills.
Yeah, that's still happening,
So
and that's something that we'll have to work with.
But that is something
That's- yeah.
to work on between the next
Yeah.
6 months of, if you send a bill, how do we itemize it or at least see a copy of the bill?
Yeah, there has to be some type of.
But I don't know how they're gonna
formula
separate the
that's being used.
MCFs between city and, because it's one gas.
the control was moved from a unique, from a place that both had access to when you guys
Yeah.
did some upgrades, and now it's.
It's just
now-
on your side.
And now it's just on your side, so we have.
We have no
nothing-
control over
We
it.
have no control over it, and we have no idea what we're getting other than just a number that gets.
A bill that says pay this.
Well, there's probably a percentage or some type of formula is being.
Yeah.
There may be, I don't know.
Nobody's
Let's
been-
look at
When
that.
I ask my people, they
Nobody's
go,
been
"Yeah,
able to
we don't
explain
know."
that to me
So-
for 10 years.
Well, we can
We'll
look
look
at the
into
agreement and just, I would think, I know you're all looking at me, but I would think there has to be some type of formula
I know.
So,
to
and that is,
generate that.
and that is exactly why we're here, so we could talk about
Yeah.
what is that formula.
But,
So
yeah.
that way, the city is no longer thinking, we're just getting an arbitrary bill, we could say, all right, this is why it's happening.
But let me say this too, like, at least for the next 4 months, like,
Yeah.
if there's something, call me and then I'll try to investigate.
Right,
Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to wait 6 months before we meet again. Does that make
Okay.
sense?
right.
Like, just call me and say, hey, could you look at?
All right,
and I'll
so,
look and-
so there's a bullet point, look at the gas bill or talk to whoever does the billing to us. Whoever is sending us that bill, can you guys talk to them
Yeah.
and say, how is this bill created? From, if this is the total gas bill, how are you giving this portion to the city? How is that
They
determined?
should talk to Christina, let her, so she needs to understand it. Because these are, and the
Christina?
people that I have
Christina,
today
our
aren't
finance
the people that
director.
have
Okay.
been here. So they don't know, you know what I'm saying?
Ours don't either.
Right, there might have been something somewhere along the line, but nobody really knows.
Yeah.
So that's something that, we've got to get to the bottom to as well. So that could be one of our bullet points.
So make that a bullet point, so that could be a bullet point for next time. And we'll all get we'll get the minutes from this meeting that'll have all this on it as well. But I think that's a good starting point. Takeaway is talk to that person who sends the bill, find out how they come up with that. And then we'll look at the contracts that,
I'll send those
Sam
out.
will send
I'll
it to
have them
you,
sent out.
send it to all the council, and we'll move forward. And like I said, I agree with what the mayor said, the past is the past, new future moving forward. We have a different mayor now, versus when a lot of those contracts happen. We'll have a new superintendent now
Right.
coming in this year. Let's move forward and, make it great.
Steve has some stuff he wanted to
Yeah, I have a
share.
couple things. We have a pancake breakfast on Saturday. If you're interested in having some pancakes, we have sponsored by PTA and the Chamber of Commerce. And I know
Where is that, at your facility?
it's at our high school facility.
I've been
Our
there.
high school facility in the campus.
I've been there
Once or twice, right?
a couple times.
And
Thank you.
and then
I didn't have one.
as you know, we have that earned income issue on the ballot in May. Our expenditures have exceeded our revenue for a number of years. Therefore, we do need additional revenue. The board accepted my recommendations on cutting like $2.some million. So we've reduced some positions. Unfortunately, like today, I was at the school being an educator, telling people that, we're cutting their job. So we're reducing some expenses. We do have the 1 1/4 earned income. It doesn't apply to, and I know you've probably heard me over and over, if you've seen my Marlowe in a minutes. I don't know if you've seen those Marlowe in a minute or Marlowe,
Yes.
Marlowe. Laugh at me over there.
I'm sorry.
But,
You can laugh for about 4 more months.
it's 1.25%. It's earned income. It doesn't apply to Social Security, pension, retirement income, things of that nature. We are trying to relieve some of the burden on those that are on fixed incomes. We know property tax. You probably know this, Mayor, more than me. Maybe I don't know if you've seen any of the reforms that are going on in Columbus and for property tax. So the way we fund schools has always been a challenge. For 30 years it's been challenged.
And we're one of the few that do it this way.
What's that?
We're one of the few states that do it this way.
Yeah.
It's been unconstitutional for 50 years.
Yeah. So, and I know I have some slides here too that I've done. I don't know if you've seen them, but we spend less than most districts. Just for information, and I can pass them out. But we spend less. We So when people say, you're misspending your money, I can do that.
No, I got it. So they need to hear you on the mic.
I don't want to be heard.
Well, you're supposed to.
So what?
I want to be seen and not heard. That's my mantra.
Thank you.
Huh?
I like-
it.
Okay. What's that?
You're hilarious.
But no, just I know that it's a serious issue, and I know that nobody ever wants to pay more. But just some things, if you go to the second page, it just says what it is. How it impacts. What's it for? 85% of our expenses, and people know, this are people, right? So you can see I pulled all this information from the CUP report. We spend less than on the second page less than all the surrounding schools. We have great schools surrounding us. We spend less than the surrounding schools. Again, this is all pulled from the ODE website. I just didn't make this up. And then our per pupil revenue is less, 16,000 some. And then, on the back, you can see, we continue to, you talk about the state revenue, we continue to lose revenue from the state. They're not helping us. So we are a wealthy district, and we have to take care of ourselves. So it's a challenge, and we got to kind of face it head on. Any comments from the board members? I don't know. I know I'm brief and
No,
short, but
I just want to add on there, it came from the CUP report, which is the official, I'm being snotty, I know.
So
social
it's
media.
official?
So social media has a lot of these things out there right now, and this is from the report from the state. This is the official, these are the official amounts. There's no makeup here. We didn't go out and find these off ChatGPT. This is, Mr. Marlowe put this together straight off of the state reports and the school reports.
yeah, I
Okay,
pulled
this
that
is
right from ODE, and you can find it. Go to finance, go down to finance. You'll see CUP report. Click on CUP report, and then you can pull up any school district you want. And I just pulled up the surrounding ones,
And why is it lower?
why is what lower? Which
Why
one?
is the state revenue lower?
Because the state's reducing.
Well, why is it lower for, this is a curiosity question. Why is the Twinsburg's revenue lower compared to the similar districts? Why would we not be getting more than, or the same
We're a
as?
wealthy district.
Yeah, they consider us
consider us
a
a
wealthy
wealthy
district,
Yeah,
so
we're
we
wealthy.
get less funding from the
So we
state.
have to do it locally and not from the state.
So
Did
most
that
of
answer your
our-
question? Did that answer your
That
question?
answers the question,
Most of
yes.
the funds come
Property,
from
businesses,
the
Yeah,
property
things
tax.
that make up the district are making us be considered to be wealthy.
Which is why Solon gets only 11% because they're considered a wealthier district.
Correct,
Even wealthier.
yes.
Okay.
I'll send you a text after we're done.
Okay.
And no, I was just gonna say, like, going back to last year, like, we knew that the district was,
Well, here she says it. No, go ahead. I want to hear you say it.
no. We knew that the district, so our treasurer, she does, the 5-year forecast, and, since I've been on the board, it was showing a deficit, and we knew that in year 28, we were gonna be negative, and, we saw that, it was negative 8 million, and so as a board, we decided to start to do the retirement buyback, to try to reduce some of those costs. We also, started to cut some expenditures, we that calendar that we usually send out, we didn't send that out. We started to look at attorney, there was different things we started to look at so that we can kind of get ahead. And so we went earlier in May of last year, we were at negative 8 million. So then by the time she did her forecast, I believe that was September, October, we had cut it down to 700,000.
Wow.
With the new, by doing those different things. And so, even though, because we were still in a deficit, we still got, we weren't in a fiscal emergency or a watch or anything, but we got, a letter from the state that said that basically we needed to show by February of this year that we can get out of that deficit in February, for fiscal year 28, and if we showed that in our February forecast, then we would not have to be on a plan with the state. So that is why Mr. Marlowe presented to the school board a reduction plan, which was about around $2.2 million, where the good thing, none of that's ever good, but what we did have a lot of people decide to leave due to attrition, and so we didn't have to cut as many staff members. We just decided not to rehire some of those positions. So that was one of the things that we had looked at when we were doing this reduction. And part of that reduction plan, again, students were always student focused, and we wanted to make sure we weren't really impacting our classroom. So we looked at that, we approved that, and then now we know that looking at fiscal year 29 and 30, we're still in a pretty bad deficit. And so that's where we're like, hey, we need to, in order to, basically, operate, we're gonna have to go on the ballot. And so that is why we are looking to do the 1.25% earned income. And I think it's really clear to the community, this is not a shiny new building. This is not anything new. Like, yes, we had 2 previous bond levies that failed. And I think some people right now is confusing this operating levy with the building levy. And in order to pass, you have to, this is operating. And so this is what we use to pay our staff. This is what we use to pay for the building. This is what we use to do busing. So when we think about this, the sports and everything, this is what operating pays. We do have a separate fund that we get from the state, about around a little bit over $2 million. That is permanent improvement plan. Now that stuff goes for capital expenses. So that's what we use for those different things. We have that set aside, but this is what we use for our staff and everything
Day to day,
else.
make it happen.
So it's really important, like you say, as the community the schools are the community. And so this is why we really want people to really understand that this is not the past 2 levies, this is operating.
Go ahead.
So I guess my question, that leads to my question is, so was that really the best thing to do last year, to go out for that levy for new buildings and abandon 3 buildings that we currently have, when you knew coming that 28 was going to be a bad year, rather than just to go out for not so much, because it was a huge levy that was put out there for new buildings and so on and so forth. And again, just demolishing a building, putting up a new building and abandoning 2 other buildings. Why wasn't the decision made to go for an operating levy that maybe would have had a chance? But no, instead, the schools decided to go for that levy that failed horribly, and you knew what was coming. I guess that's, and I'm not, believe me, I'm not pointing fingers or trying to scold anybody here. I'm just asking the question for me, because to me that would make more sense to me. Hearing that, you said you knew this was coming. I mean, so whose decision was that?
Yeah,
I think the part of the, that's not a problem, part of the whole
Your
process.
microphone's off.
Part of the whole process is the aged buildings are costing us so much money, and we're bandaging. So to replace a water fountain in Bissell School is, I forget the numbers now, so I'm going to, now you can't quote me, because I'm just going to make the numbers up to make it with what we heard. The water fountain itself might have been a couple thousand. But because the structure behind the wall to connect it to the piping is so old, it was over $10,000. The exact amount I don't remember. So we paid an astronomical amount of money to replace a simple water fountain, not because there was a problem with the water fountain, there's a problem with the structure. And so part of the thought process when OFCC came in is that the aged buildings are going to cost you more than you can afford. And if something goes down, your kids are going to be off campus. And the last thing we want is to go back to that COVID method of having kids educated at home on a computer. So it's this. My kids are going to say, Mom, you're doing 6-7. But it's this. It's like, what do we do to keep things running and to keep kids warm and safe in a building? I mean, we have roofs, water coming in, we have bucket. I mean, we're not an inner city school district. We shouldn't have buckets in our hallways catching rainwater. So it's, you see what I'm saying? I mean, what do we do? I mean, you make the best decision you can at the moment that you're trying to make a decision.
I understand, but the problem's still there, though.
Yes.
That's not gone away.
The problem's not going away.
There. And now you're going out. I just think it's going to be difficult. This is just my personal opinion, to try to pass this, because I think that you've got to really make this clear to the people out there and to the voters that, what was done, and maybe explain what you just said, what might help it. But I think that there's got to be some trust rebuilt into that, and I think that's going to be a chore.
Well, and let me add this too, so that if you're hearing anything or your council's hearing anything, we are refurbishing the football field and the track. If we don't refurbish the turf on the football field, we're going to be shut down by the Ohio Athletic Association because it's run its life and concussions and all that stuff. We can't run safe track meets unless we rebuild the track. We're going to be in trouble again with the Ohio Athletic. So that we need to make very clear that that's going to happen. Right now, that's going to happen. That is coming from the improvement fund, the permanent improvement money. That is not coming from the operating fund. So again, the 1.25 and the budget that we're dealing with is a budget to run the operation, to pay people, to pay the utilities, to keep our kids in the classrooms educated. The football field and the track stuff that has to be done. Do we want a town without the football team playing home? So we know that, but that is coming strictly from permanent improvement money. It's a separate fund. We have to keep that out
Most people
there.
don't know that. I only know because I'm in education,
Yeah.
right? But most people don't know that money like this for an operating levy can't go for that.
Right.
They don't understand there's two separate
Yeah.
pools and one can't go to the other. And most people, I think, just don't know that because most people just don't pay attention.
And
Well, Lee,
And
I
with-
understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. I do understand
Yeah.
that, and I could give you a quick example of just here in the city, that, for years, this is the original roof on this building, okay, and the HVAC stuff. And past administrations have let that go, but we built a clubhouse at the golf
Nice
course.
one, too.
Pardon me?
A nice one, too.
That's very nice. Yeah, it's very nice.
Yeah.
And we
fire
also
station,
have
too.
buckets all over the building every time it rains.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And we have HVAC units that don't work, that are outdated, they're old, and they're costing us a fortune to run because they're not energy efficient, okay,
Mm-hmm.
at all. And everybody has ignored that. You know my goal. I want to build a service garage.
Yeah.
That's what I think we need. However, I got to take care of this building because that's what we have to operate out of. And we're blowing money every time these heating and air conditioning units, it's just blowing out the windows. The roof's leaking. We're constantly changing ceiling tiles. So I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what
TVs
you're
are
saying.
hiding,
I mean,
talking about
TVs are
this
hiding those.
and so I guess
15
it
years we've been
depends
talking about
on
this
the
roof.
administration.
Yeah, I see that.
You make a decision, what's
decision.
your priority?
Right.
And, I pride myself on not being a taxing guy. I hope I never have to go out for a tax to these people. I don't want to do that. And we're okay financially right now, so we're holding our own. But that's not to say that that's never going to happen, that we're never going to do that. I just hope that in my term, I'll leave it for the next guy to have to go out for a tax, but I want to make sure I don't have to go out for a tax. So
and
that's,
just-
I understand
You see,
what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
yeah.
I
And
do.
just so you know, to piggyback off of what she just said, like, to be honest, the OFCC came in and did an audit of all our buildings, and when they did that, it was presented to us to kind of go ahead and move forward with that, and so that's kind of how it happened. It like
It was their
literally came.
suggestion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like they came in, we looked, and it was presented, we moved, and then it kind of happened.
And we were under a timeline to
Yeah.
get that money back.
Yeah.
That percentage that they
Because
were
of
going
that.
to give us back
We
after
had a
we did
time.
it and put in line to get that money back, we had a timeline, and that squeezed us too.
And it changed the plan because for the longest, I would say my daughter graduated in 2016. That's when they came up with all these different plans to do different buildings, the library, all this stuff. And then, they had been talking, and we talked to communities, we talked to sports teams, we had talked to so many different people. And I think that was the frustration from the community, is because and I think, and I agree too. Like it was fast. Like we had them come in, and it changed what we even had discussed as a board. And that process moved really quick. So
Oh, you can.
she's muted.
Oh, okay.
She's muted on
I'm
purpose.
breathing
So
now.
you can only get so many years out of a field and a turf now? I mean,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like 10,
Yeah, 10,
Yeah.
10 years.
12 years.
we've had to replace ours also.
It has-
we had cinders,
Yeah,
a cinder track next to a railroad thing across the street from a aluminum foundry, which the EPA shut down. So that's why they helped move the stadium to the new high
You
school.
have a nice stadium
Little house
now
on the
there.
prairie, that's what you live.
They chiseled the
Nice stadium
bleachers.
now.
They chiseled
We have a
the,
nice stadium now. I don't like the blue
at the
stuff. My mom
arenas.
was there when they did
It was
that.
all stone and
But,
granite. They chiseled it from thousands of years ago.
You know, there's still people I know that got cinders in their knees from tripping over hurdles, so.
We used to have a cinder track here in Twinsburg.
Okay, yes,
It was there. We got ran of it.
okay.
Used to be cinders.
And Leah, just so you understand, Brush High School I teach at Brush, turns 100 next year.
Oh, yeah, you're having a
We turn 100
celebration.
next year. We spend so much money on repairs that we should not be. A repair that should be 10,000 costs us 50. Happens all the
Well,
time.
and we have the same issues that you talk, you know, we have to replace our roads every.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. I saw you
30
just-
years.
in South
Yeah,
Union.
we did the chamber.
And I know how hard it
So
is
that
to
happened,
have to
and
cut
we're talking
people, 'cause
here,
we've done that.
Nobody's ever done this one.
Right.
Nobody's
We've cut
addressed this.
13 to
We've done
15%
everything
twice.
else.
When we lost Chrysler, we had to do it.
Can you explain this to me though, just so I understand it? Just so I understand. The thing you passed out. No, I can't be there. I'm going with my girlfriend. She's running a race this Saturday, so I personally can't make it. But the earned income tax, just so I understand, so I can convey the correct message. The 1.2 earned income tax will bring in $12.1 million annually.
Approximately 12.
And explain to me just in layman's terms who pays for that specifically?
Those in the school district community that have an earned income, like not, again, if I used this example last week. If I make $4,000 as a side job at Home Depot, I'll pay 1.25% of that. So, you know, 1% of four.
So it's all the employees in Twinsburg, all the employees in Reminderville, all
Not
the.
the employees.
No.
Not,
No.
I mean, the
So-
residents.
Oh, it's like a sales tax.
The residents.
No, it's an income
Not-
tax.
No. It's an income.
Not the businesses.
Like,
That's where the
if you live
municipal is different. That's your, the municipal is your.
So the business-
And I get, trust me.
No, not the
I get
business,
the
the
income.
residents.
I mean, the residents. You live here, you're gonna pay
You're gonna pay the
1.25%
tax.
of what you earn. Me,
I
I'm
see.
retired. It doesn't come out of my pension. It's not earned. Does that make sense?
Yes.
My social security is not
So
taxed.
every resident will pay 1.25%.
Only
If
if
they
they
have
have
earned income.
yeah,
Yes.
so this part
The
right
residents
here.
who are working.
Yes,
Yes, that
this-
makes sense now.
Yes.
Yes,
If you're
100%
unemployed,
understand
Social
it.
Security.
Nothing
yeah.
to do with the businesses.
Right.
It's not a business, it's not
I
a
understand
municipal
completely
tax. And again, I get the, you know, tax, you know, this is yours, this is, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, that's
But they
how
are,
we live.
but they, I know that, but I don't know how much longer schools are gonna be able to live. I'm
So
gonna use
someone-
the word live on property taxes, because I think they're already changing it.
So someone who makes,
They're trying to take it away, and I'm not,
Yeah.
again, I get it.
so someone who makes 100,000 a year will pay 1250.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Someone who makes 200,000 will pay
But
2,500.
our average income is, don't quote me, it's not.
It's in
not
the
close to
70s,
that.
I thought.
Again,
Yeah,
I'm just,
69, I think, maybe, or yeah.
okay, so I'm just
Somewhere in that
trying
ballpark.
to make sure I understand it.
Yep.
And the
Yeah.
next question I have, that I'm sure you're also getting is, that's gonna bring in $12.1 million. Is $12.1 million needed to just get out of deficit? Because
No,
I guess my question is, why do you need $12.1 million
our
annually, not
expenditures
$6 million?
Our expenditures our expenditures exceed our revenue for the next, as long as the forecast goes. And I'm
Right.
not trying to, she's kind of smiling. It exceeds our revenue as
Smiling
long as
now.
the forecast goes out.
Okay.
So this is going to help us
Balance a little bit.
have a balance, but have our revenues not being exceeded by expenditures. I think Julia, I didn't bring that with me, but I think she has us forecasted, I don't know, again, I'm sorry,
Go
I
ahead.
didn't bring that with me, but.
That's, I guess my question is, I see 12.1 million, and that seems like a lot of annual. So if I saw 12.1 over the next 4 years, I could say, okay, that's why, but it is, and again, I'm just asking a question that I want to be able to answer to someone who asked me about it, that 12.1 is what is needed to just be,
Keep us out of the red for
Yeah.
the next, I think she's got, what are we at, 26?
Yeah.
31, 32, sometime in that.
Yeah.
Remember, it's a 5-year forecast too, so.
And just so you know, it takes about, we wouldn't
3 years to
collect for
collect it
about
all.
3 years. Like just, so we wouldn't even, like
see it
because
for 3 years. No, I understand.
Full amount, we'll get
Full
some,
amounts,
we'll
we'll
get
get
some.
Oh, so
we'll get
it's slowly,
Yep.
You have to
Okay.
tell your employer.
Like
So
they have
Okay,
to-
if you
so what-
forget to tell your employer, if you forget to tell your employer to take it out, there's no retro. So as soon as your employer finds out that there's a school
That's when they start.
that's when it starts. So by the time they tell us, Julia's prediction from the economic people in Columbus.
Takes about 3 years.
Said it takes about that. So we're good.
Your microphone's on now. All right.
I'll ask you.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to, so 12.1. What is your total budget?
62-ish million.
Okay, so
Again, I apologize,
so
I
you're
forgot.
trying, so you're adding 20% of your budget.
Do you count your budget the way the city does, where we put our revenue and our expense in the same? I mean,
Yeah, we have a revenue, you know, and then an expenditure,
okay.
yeah.
So your expenditures are 62?
A little over 60, 62, 60.
Your expenses are more than your revenue.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, they have been for years.
And-
Here's what I said. Again, I'm sorry. Here's what I said. Our expenses have exceeded our revenue for years. So we had a cash balance, and that's been eaten away, right?
now there's no
And
cash, right?
in 2028, it was gonna be gone. So the state sent us a letter and said, hey, I'm paraphrasing, please, I'm paraphrasing.
Right.
You know, your deficit in 28, you can't have that. So they said by February forecast, which just happened last month, you have to show that 750 negative is gone. So we recommend, the board approved $2+ million in reductions going forward. So our deficit in 28 no longer exists, but we're gonna be deficit in 29 because there is a deficit in 29 right now.
And
Okay?
30, you know.
Does that make sense?
It does. So I guess my question is this. If your deficit every year is $3 million, I'm just throwing out a number, is your deficit, so
It
your
grows.
expenses,
This year it's
keeps
3, next
growing.
year it's, again, I don't have it.
It
Next year
grows.
it's 6 or 9.
Like, let's
So-
just
and
say.
I know
like,
that's-
no, I
it
understand.
could be
And then the following, so,
15,000.
right.
Yeah.
I
It
guess,
could be 15,000 for 29 and 30 million for 30. Like it jumps huge.
it's growing
It jumps
exponentially.
huge. It's a huge jump.
I guess that's why I'm saying is
Yeah,
why,
because it's a huge jump. To be honest, it's like if you were to look at and I don't have the 5-year forecast to pull up right now, but
Okay.
it's a huge amount that we will be deficit for. And so this is to make sure that and also the goal too is to like, we do have like, we've had emergency, we have renewals and all this other stuff. The goal is to kind of get ourselves out of deficit spending, do this, and not to continue to keep coming to the community at the end of the day. Like, we don't want to keep.
to get above water and have
Yeah,
money in the bank for when something comes up, you
yes.
don't have to, okay, I
We don't have
understand.
to keep coming.
Right, the goal is not to be just revenue and expenses are the exact same, that your
Sorry,
revenue
wow.
is higher than your expenses, so you can have breathing room. I understand, okay.
I welcome the opportunity for you to sit down and I go through it with you. Seriously.
Okay.
Because it's not an easy,
I'm not so good with numbers.
I'm not
But
either.
everything is also, just so you know too, everything is
Like your brother,
posted
just
on
like
our
Jeff.
website. Every forecast, all of the presentations, all of our numbers, nothing is hidden. Everything is posted. So
Sure.
go to our treasurer's website and you can see all numbers.
No, and I understand that. I guess my question was initially, and again, I'm thinking of the person who just happens to see this.
Yes, for sure.
Your budget is 60 million, and you're asking for a 20% budget increase every year. That is right? Do you understand? Like, it's not like you're adding 5 or 7 million, you're adding a 20% budget increase. That seems
Yeah,
substantial.
Yeah,
And but-
because we're not gonna. Yeah,
But it's because you're negative,
Yeah, we're-
and you've already depleted all your savings, and it's, so, okay. But that's the question I had.
Yeah.
Because if I had that question, someone else is gonna ask that question.
Yeah,
And I-
like this year, let's say it's 63. I think 3 million is the number that we're.
Okay, you don't have to find it right now.
And then two
Expenses
things,
exceed
you have to
revenue.
look at, like, things are, increased too, like, like, there's just.
Okay.
Like, it's just
I understand.
stuff that keeps going.
I understand.
That's not gonna be
Listen,
covered.
here's all I know is, all I know is you got my vote. I'm gonna vote yes. It's gonna cost me a lot of money, but
Thank you for
I'm
your
gonna vote
support.
yes. Of course, I will always vote yes for schools. Does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I have one more. I texted, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have texted, but we have not been getting billed for the fitness center.
I know.
Yeah, I know,
Thank
He's
you.
like, I know.
I just wanna make sure if I.
Okay, it's so fair.
If I'm wrong, I wanna
Okay.
correct myself. But I can tell you that it was before, so I'd love to look at the. yeah.
Again, I think that it
But again,
was,
I've been
and then
gone for a
they
decade.
stopped, and then it came back, and it's not been for many years, so.
All right, so with that, I think our takeaways are, we're gonna get the two takeaways, the big takeaways, we're all gonna get a copy of the contract. And Mr. Marley, you said that you will, look at
The gas bill.
the gas bill. And then you'll let, the mayor know about the gas bill, whenever you find that out, and mayor, then you'll let the council know about the gas bill when you get that information
Right.
at some point. Okay, anyone else have anything? I think this was a great first meeting. I loved the dialogue, I loved the openness, and I hope you got a little bit better perspective of where we were coming from. I definitely feel where you were coming from, and I think this is gonna be great. And like I said, I think twice a year is enough, right? And if we need another meeting, we can always,
I don't know whose this is.
That was
That's mine.
Oh, it's yours?
Yes, thank you for pointing that out.
you'd have figured it out eventually.
Yes,
Right.
Did you set the next meeting date, sir?
yes, it is.
Yes, we did it. I asked Shannon to do March and I think September. It was twice,
You'll be
like,
back, right?
Yeah, you're gonna come?
Provided just for that one? Yeah.
yes, you already have the meeting.
I look
But
forward to seeing you at that meeting, Steve. If you come, I'll come.
Thank you. Appreciate it, really.
Thank you.
thank you.
Do we need
All right,
a-
Ed's
For 1 minute.
do we
motion
need a
for.
motion to adjourn, or no? Do you guys need a motion?
I was just going to adjourn the meeting.
Okay, all right.
We don't always do that.
Okay.
So I will say this. So no, I'd like to make a motion to excuse Greg Bellin because he is not here and you are filling in. So I would like to excuse Greg Bellin because it was so last minute he was unable. So do I have a second for two? I'd like to make a motion to excuse Greg Bellin from tonight's
Second.
meeting. Second, all in favor? Aye. Okay, Greg. Great. Greg's excused. And with that, at 7:20, I will adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.